In 1975, a young chemist was murdered in her lab. No suspect, no weapon, no motive, no CCTV footage. For 5 decades, the case went silent until an AI algorithm scanned a forgotten lab notebook and uncovered something no human eye had ever noticed. Annie Drexler, 27, was a rising star in biochemistry at the University of Cascade, Oregon. She was a smart lady, soft-spoken, and always working late. Ellen was the kind of person who didn't just love science, she lived it. She was on the verge of a world-changing breakthrough, a revolutionary biotech prototype that, once placed on a home ZEMCOS, microclimatic air system, would instantly neutralize any airborne virus. A device that could make every home a fortress against future pandemics. At the time, it was only a theory, a vision she was relentlessly chasing, driven by something deeper than science. It wasn't just a project, it was personal. She had lost her brother, her best friend, her anchor, during a sudden, brutal pandemic that swept in without warning. His death wasn't just a wound, it was the spark. She poured everything into her research, determined that no other family would feel the kind of loss that had shattered hers. But just as she stood at the edge of a breakthrough, ready to move from theory to reality, she disappeared. That was the story the world was told. What no one knew was that she was murdered in cold blood. On a night so quiet you could hear your own heartbeat, Annie was alone in her lab, eyes locked on her screen, analyzing data that could change the world. Her breakthrough was just days away. The biotech she was building had the potential to eliminate every airborne virus from any home it was installed in. She was very close to making history. Then she felt something, that eerie chill, the feeling that she wasn't alone. She slowly turned her head. A tall, dark figure in a long black robe, face hidden behind a mask, standing at the door. Shocked she was, seeing the man she trusted most, her mentor holding a gun, pointed directly at her. "Dr. Kessler?" she asked, shocked and surprised. "Annie, you don't understand what you're doing," he said. "I trusted you," she replied. "You were supposed to help me, not take credit for something you barely believed in." "It was never about the invention," he said coldly. "It was about control, about power. You were going to throw it all away because of your morals." The last thing Annie said was, "If I don't show up for my conference, they'll know." "No," he replied. "They'll forget, just like they always do." One shot, silent, precise. He wrapped her body in the same thermal sheet they used for viral testing. He drove her to Iron Ridge Park, 2 hours north, remote, dark, deserted, and buried her under the cedar trees with her lab coat and a single silver bracelet still on her wrist. Annie never screamed. She never called for help. She vanished. The next morning, her lab was untouched, her car still parked. Days passed. When her family realized she was missing, they alerted the authorities. A police investigation followed, but no signs of a struggle. All evidence pointed to one eerie conclusion. She left willingly, they said. Probably went off to finish some secret project. But those who knew Annie knew better. She couldn't just vanish without a purpose. 6 months later, 2 hikers in Iron Ridge State Park made a gruesome discovery, a shallow grave beneath the cedar trees. Inside the grave, they found bone fragments, a broken pair of glasses, and a delicate silver bracelet. Dental records confirmed what her family feared. Annie Drexler had been murdered. But without leads or a known suspect, the case faded filed away in a dusty drawer marked unsolved. For nearly 50 years, Dr. Kessler lived free, held academic honors, published papers based on stolen science, and Annie Drexler became just another cold case. The trail, ice cold. The evidence, missing or meaningless. The grief, unbearable. Her family tried everything, hiring private investigators, appealing to media, even contacting the university for access to her research. But all roads led nowhere. Until 2024. That year, Cascade University began digitizing thousands of archived documents from the 1970s, a part of a tech initiative meant to preserve past research using AI tools. a first-year data science student, interning part-time, was scanning old lab notes when she came across one that stood out. Faded brown pages, edges curling with time, scribbled across the top corner. AD, viral neutralization prototype logs. It was Annie's. Nobody had opened it in nearly 50 years. What started as a curiosity quickly turned into a revelation. The AI scanning system, trained to identify anomalies in data and handwriting patterns, flagged one sentence written in shakier ink than the rest. Sample number 37 contaminated. Dr. K notified. Warning ignored. But there was more. The AI highlighted pressure marks beneath the page, revealing writing from a previous entry, previously invisible to the naked eye. It read, "He knows. I don't feel safe. Backing up data off-site, just in case I don't make it to Thursday." Investigators were alerted. Forensic techs and AI researchers worked side by side, feeding Annie's notes into enhanced pattern tracking systems. One of the digitized photos from 1975 of the lab table underwent AI image enhancement. The system zoomed in and amplified a blurry shadow on the lab's edge. It wasn't just a smudge. It was a glove dropped behind a cabinet, likely missed during the original sweep. Inside, a decades-old blood trace. DNA tests confirmed it wasn't Annie's. It belonged to Dr. Calvin Kessler, Annie's former mentor. Though Kessler planned the murder to be clean, silent, and untraceable, something unexpected happened that night. Right before he pulled the trigger, Annie lunged at him. She grabbed his wrist, fought back. In that split second, the gun went off. The bullet struck her, but not instantly fatal. During the struggle, Annie clawed at him, scratching just under his collarbone with a scalpel from her bench, a last act of desperation. He winced, staggered, but he overpowered her. And in the chaos, one of his gloves tore slightly as he pressed down to silence her. A single drop of his blood, mingled with sweat and dust, stained the inside of the glove. In his panic to clean the scene, he missed it. He thought he had destroyed all evidence. Dr. Kessler, now 82, had long since retired, living quietly in suburban Arizona. He was arrested and extradited back to Washington. He was charged with second-degree murder, evidence tampering, and grant fraud totaling over $500,000. In court, Keller denied everything, blamed age, blamed memory, claimed the contamination never happened. She was a talented girl. I always supported her work, he said in his words, but the AI reconstructed timeline, enhanced forensic images, and Annie's own words sealed the case. A jury convicted him after just 10 hours of deliberation. He was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. At sentencing, Annie's younger brother told the courtroom, "My sister was silenced for telling the truth. Now, the truth finally spoke for her." This case didn't reopen because of luck. It reopened because of technology and one woman who refused to falsify her findings. For nearly 50 years, her story went ignored, but it turns out the answers were there all along, buried in the margins of a notebook no one bothered to read. Because sometimes justice isn't loud. It waits, quietly, patiently.
Subscribe to our channel to get more videos. You believe AI should be used to reopen long-forgotten cold cases? Share your own experiences about it as a means to solve cold cases in the comments below. We want to hear your thoughts.